Hello and welcome to today's math lesson. My name is Anas and I'm a teacher in the International Knowledge School. In today's lesson, we'll go through over the homework and move on and pick up where we left off in the last lesson. So let's go ahead and go to today's homework. In here we have the exercise, color half of these ribbons and make each pattern different. So let's get the colors. I'm going to use the same four colors and just to avoid getting new colors in every exercise. So here we had that pattern, here we will have a different pattern. Again, you can use the same color, but I prefer using different colors just to make it look a bit better. Okay, and pink. So that's only half. And the next one, I'm going to go for another half. Go for brown and pink. So that's half. So half, half, and half. Now here, quarter of these ribbons. So only draw, if you had four here, so here, two. So only quarter, so only two of each ribbon. So we can do this. We can do this as well. Okay, and the next one, I'm going to do it like this. So only quarter, so only two of these ribbons. Okay, I hope it's easy enough and it's clear for you to see the colors. Half is only half, and quarter is like 4 pieces. So that's it for this one. Okay, great. Now here we answered most of the questions that we have. This is the page we stopped at. Here, use this grid, draw a square and draw a rectangle. So we'll draw one big square. This is a square. And here I'm going to draw a rectangle. A rectangle is going to be bigger. And we can color it as well. I'm going to color the square green. You can use the boxes to clean neatly, to color neatly and not go outside of the lines. Okay, so that's the square. The other square is going to be green as well, but a different shade. This is like grass green. And again, like I showed in the last lesson, when you color, when you use the colors, say what color they are. So this is green. You can see the square is much bigger than this rectangle is much bigger than the square. Could have drawn more than one square and one rectangle, but one is enough, I guess. Okay, so this is a rectangle. And this is the square. Okay. I don't like it very much, but you can use different colors and make it look a lot nicer. Design a pattern with squares and circles on the strings. So let's go ahead and design a pattern on each string. Okay, so let's start. We have three shapes. So we have a circle, square, rectangle, and triangle. So let's start with a triangle, rectangle, square, circle, circle. Of course, your pattern can be different. It doesn't have to be like mine, but this is like one pattern that I chose. So let's see. Okay, so now let's move on. Circle, circle, triangle, rectangle, square, circle, circle. You can use different colors. I'm gonna draw all the triangles green. I'm gonna color all the triangles green. All the rectangles pink. All the squares brown. And get blue. All the circles blue. Okay, now the next pattern is going to be like this. Now again, these are my patterns. Yours can be different. Circle, square, triangle. Circle, square, triangle. Again, all the circles are okay, or the squares are blue. All the circles are green. And all the triangles are a different shade of green. And I think this is called turquoise. Not really sure. But to me it's green. Okay, so these are the shapes. I'm pretty sure you can do much better than this, but this is what I did. So let's move on. Here, fractions, half, and quarters. Okay, so which shapes are 2 halves and which shapes are 4 quarters? So let's write quarters and halves so we know which shape is which. Okay, so here we have half. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, that's quarter. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's quarter. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's quarter. These are not perfect halves, so no. Well, 2 halves, still not really half. Here, not really half, because this is bigger than these. Here, quarters, yes. Here, half, yes. Here, quarters. And here, half. Okay, which shapes are 2 halves? 1, 2, 3. So 3. Okay, next. Which shapes are 4 quarters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Okay, now color half of these shapes. Before we color half, let's divide them in half with the pencil. This is half. This is half. And this is half. You can use green for this one. Looks neat. You can use blue for this one. And can use brown for the last one. Okay, now for these shapes here, we can color quarter of these shapes. Quarter like this. It's only 1/4, so this is a quarter. Color a quarter of this shape. I think it's too small. That's a quarter. I'm going to use pink and color this quarter. Color quarter of this shape. We'll use grass green. And there we go. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this page. Here, draw a large square on this grid, color half of the square red, and color quarter of the square blue. So let's draw a large square. Let's see. Can draw a very large square. Okay, here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Huh. Okay. Okay, so that's a large square. Now we have to divide it in half. It's actually better if we do more than just 5. Let's do 6. So it's much easier to divide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Oops. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This, like this. Okay. Now we're going to divide it into quarters. So quarters should be 1, 2, 3. You draw the line. 1, 2, 3. You draw the line. Now, color half of the square red. Let me get red. Here's red. And color quarter of the square blue. This is blue. Okay, so half of the square red. So this half would be red. And then quarter of the square blue. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Half of the square red, a quarter of the square blue. This quarter stays the same, which is white, or white with green lines in it. Okay, now write half or quarter to name each fraction shown. Okay, So here we have 1, 2, that's half. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's quarter. Here, 1, 2, it's half. 1, 2, 3, 4, it's quarter. 1, 2, 3, 4, it's quarter. 1, 2, it's half. Okay, we have half, quarter, half, quarter, quarter, half. Okay, these are halves and quarters. Now this was a revision unit where we revised most of the things that we went through, and it's called assess and review. So very quickly, I'm going to go through each lesson, reviewing what we've done, so it's very clear and you remember everything that we've done so far. Let's see, it starts from the beginning. No, not flat shapes. Okay, yes. Before that. Yes, I think that's it. Good. So first we have comparing shapes. Now here, of course, we have different shapes. Let's see if they give us names of these shapes. There's small and big. You can sort them by color. So we have red, blue, green. We've been coloring them with these colors ever since earlier. Now here we have the shapes. We have cone, cylinder, sphere, cube, cuboid. Okay, and here is the same thing. Cube, cylinder, and pyramid. Now here, cone, cylinder, sphere, cube, cuboid. Of course, you have the pyramid, which is not here. And these are some of the main shapes here. Cuboid, cylinder, cone, cube, sphere, and pyramid. So these are important shapes that you need to remember. So that's what we've done here, and then we moved on to shapes again, holding the one out, and then we moved to the next lesson, which was triangles and squares. Let's see, so here's the same thing. Cones, cuboids, and cubes. And then we have patterns. We have circle, square, and rectangle. Here we have shapes that are the same, small and big, but are the same. Small and big, but are the same, rectangle and circles. Now here we have different ways to sort the shapes, large and small. We have a square, circle, triangle, and rectangle. So these are the different shapes that we had. Square, circle, triangle, and rectangle again. Here we have the difference between squares and rectangles. Here we have halves and wholes. So these are whole, these are half. Okay. Fractions are equal parts of a whole, so they need to be the same. Here, not a half, because they are different. Here they are half, because they are the same. And then we move down to quarters. Now here we have whole objects. Here we have quarters. Quarters are 4 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4 of one whole. Now objects that are quarters need to be the same. So 1, 2, 3, 4, same size. Here not the same because this is bigger than this, so not the same. So they have to be the same size, not bigger, not smaller. And the last one we had halves and quarters, and the difference between a half and a quarter. The half is 1, 2, and the quarter is 1, 2, 3, and 4. And here we went to the assess and review, which is the same thing. Cubes, spheres, cylinders, and pyramids. And here we have triangle, circle, square, and rectangle. So here, square, rectangle, triangle, and circle. And we drew some patterns. We did the same thing again. Fractions and quarters, halves, and then we did fractions and quarters again. Now, this is it for today's lesson. There is no homework today, but try to take a look at the next page. See if there is anything that you can get without before the lesson, and if there is anything, that would be great, and an extra for you, because you will have an advantage or a head start in the lesson in the next episode. Thank you for watching. That's it for today's lesson. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.